Hey everybody. Hey everybody. Hey. 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 I lost the knack for doing the voice. I forgot how to do the voice. It's been so long. Welcome to Current Cinema. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Again, it's been a long time. I don't know how to say it anymore.
Words have definitely changed since last time we recorded, yeah.
So much. The vernacular is just all over the place. I may be even seeing that. I think it's vernacle. I don't know. Might be something different now. But this is episode this is episode something of Current Cinema. Did we hit 10 already? I think we might have hit 10 by now.
Did we?
Yeah, we've hit over 10. This is like 12, I guess. According to my notes, which could be totally incorrect. But yeah, we're gonna just chime in with our summer recap, I guess. Let's call it that, because it's September. Summer's behind us in terms of the movie season, and before the strikes, we were hitting the ground running pretty hard. And I'm not saying that anything was delayed out of summer, but there was certainly less of a reason to go to the theater. That's what it felt like, at least to me, when the actors started striking too. It was kind of like, I'm not feeling the pressure. I'm just not. Like, I'll just wait for on demand,
And we're still in that haze, so.
Yeah, pretty much. And we'll be in it until studios want.
Wow. Hey, remember when we were all like, this isn't going to last long, and then it lasted long? That was fun.
Yeah, I was like, well, the actors, surely they'll get what they want. No, they just want them all to starve. The studios just want them all to starve. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Be out on the streets making hobo camps or whatever they're called. Hobo's probably insensitive. House free. I don't know what they call themselves now.
But I'm not going to even take a stab at it. So, which they do all the time. Each other. They stab each other.
Stabbing is very, very addicting.
It's very common in the.
If you got nothing else going on, with your life, I mean, I guess you got to try taking a stab at, stabbing.
If you're that free, why not?
Yeah.
Not to make a hard right, but I'm really glad you got my wear a red shirt memo. So thank you.
Yeah, I did. We obviously coordinated this because that's what guys do.
Yeah, this is a very visual gag for a podcast.
He got on the phone. He was 90s style, like his little rotary 1930s phone. Hello, Kappa. We got to wear some red shirts. And we coordinated that very effortfully. Words are very difficult for me today. Anyway, I'm Jeff. I'm joined by Kyle, as always, for Current Cinema. And we are going to talk about movies that we saw this past summer. I'm repeating myself at this point because that's what vamping is, dude. Stealing podcast bits from other shows. So
that's Mission not a blanketed statement. So
Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 is the main subject of today's episode. We're not going to do the Big Five this week or the next 3 episodes. I guess we're kind of ironing out how many episodes that we want to do that are like shorter.
We're some catch-up episodes to make sure we're on top of what we missed here. So.
Right. Yeah. It really is a coordinated effort to do the podcast because both Kyle and I were like, I don't know, I'm busy with other stuff. And you're busy with other
stuff. We already podcast 3 hours a week, so it's already a part-time job.
Minimum. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and never mind the 14 hours of editing that Tim does. So
Tim's really got it bad. He's actually working on the edit as we speak right now. So
right, exactly.
Yeah, it's an all-week thing for him.
Yeah. He's lucky we're not Rick Glassman when you don't snap or anything like that. Make him.
Yeah, well, hey, cut to a clip on that.
Cut to a clip on him editing.
It's just him at his computer.
His Coke Zero or whatever he likes. So anyway, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 is the newest entry in the Tom Cruise runology. Let's call it a runology, if you will. A series of movies that he just runs in for 5 minutes.
Oh, sure. Okay, I get it, yeah.
I guess there's a reason for the run. There always is, but there's not a reason for the long shot. There's never a reason for it to linger as much as it does.
I don't know if there's always a reason for the run. Sometimes I feel like he's just like, I think he could have walked out of that situation.
What if we put a bunch of candles in there and it was like a football field length and I just ran that hallway? I just ran that hallway full of candles. It's all
Imagine that guy being like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm lighting all these candles for Tom Cruise's big running scene. And like one by one, he's lighting 1,000 candles, That guy goes home and kills himself that day.
Runs out of fluid halfway through. It's like, God damn it. We got to reset. Tom missed a shot, missed his mark. Oh my God. Got to get new candles.
These ones,
3 of them are out.
The wax are out on all these.
Yeah. But this was a really fun time. I actually was in Denver and I was able to watch this with you in a movie theater.
Yeah.
And we had a great discussion after the fact without microphones, which was really refreshing, actually. So now we're going to try to recreate that word for word.
Absolutely. I took notes, so I hope
okay,
you did.
Good. Yeah, me too. Hey, the weather's really nice in Denver.
Yeah. Boy, these mountains, right? Yeah, there was a lot of small talk leading up to the movie.
Yes, there was. But, yeah, we both came away really. We'll just do general.
This was
thoughts,
a movie,
but
yeah, this was a movie theater movie for sure.
Yeah. I'm glad this one was still showing because I assume Barbenheimer had just knocked it out after a couple weeks, and especially at IMAX.
90% of the theaters, that is correct. Yeah,
right. Except for that, Denver's a big city, obviously, so there's multiple theaters to choose from, and we did manage to find one that was within a reasonable distance.
Yeah,
that was still screened. It was an AMC, so we obviously got to see the Nicole Kidman wind up before a Tom Cruise movie, which was
I never want to see that ever again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that duality of. That's a weird pairing, right?
Yeah. Now you're about to watch my weirdo ex-husband.
One of the many women who ran screaming out of his life, like he was a crazy person or something.
Yeah. So true. Oh, Tom is such an oddball. But hey, he makes great movies, though. I think he's literally the one exception to like the weirdo Hollywood guy.
Yeah, and I don't. The second my butt's in a seat watching him, and especially in a movie like this or Edge of Tomorrow, something like that, I'm so bought in, and I don't care about his craziness at all.
He makes you forget.
I don't care at all. Yeah.
So I think as far as this is kind of appropriate. As far as his goal goes, mission accomplished, because he's setting out to make us forget by doing all these extravagant stunts.
It seems like an impossible mission,
right? But that's why he's got a force for it, and
yeah.
They're knocking it out of the park every single one, and this is no exception. I do like Fallout better. Like I think that's still my favorite as far as
Fallout. I think Fallout is like the staple of what an action movie should be. Even though there were moments in this where I was like, I can't fucking believe they just did that. Multiple moments even. But Fallout I think is a way better action movie. Maybe and just with better, more memorable moment. Not memorable is not the right word, but just it stands out to me as a consistently good action flick.
Right.
Whereas like I had nitpicks with this one for sure. I think you and I both
too, and they were comical ones for the most part. I don't even remember
Mustache twirly bad guy is definitely one of them.
Yeah, he's definitely one of them, especially when he is waiting at a bridge. We're not going to spoil much, even though this movie's been out for a few months, because it's just not everybody's been able to. Outside of Barbenheimer, people have not really been going to the movie.
It didn't hit projections, I'll say.
Right.
Exactly. People did not go and see this movie.
So we'll leave spoilers out of it, and we're not going to return to do a spoiler cast or anything. We'll just every now and then pepper a spoiler about Tom Cruise dying. Oh wait.
Oops. Jeremy Renner's finally taken over. Yeah.
He's all this time.
The bill
Hawk
comes
guy is
due.
Back. Yeah. Well, on this one, the mustache twirling bad guy, he was just a little too.
Yeah, I mean, there were things that like I didn't hate about him. Like he had a presence.
He was like soap opera-y. He was very much like acting like he was in a different movie a little bit sometimes.
No, and I like his presence, if that makes sense. But like the second he started talking, I'm like, okay.
There's something stilted about it, and even his movement on there's that part on the bridge where
this bridge scene is definitely
before the Tom Cruise running. But
I even thought to myself later, I was like, "That's the take they went with this one." They probably shot this scene 7 times at least.
And we talked. This is something we did mention that I remember. It's the equivalent of Marion Cotillard's death in spoilers on Dark Knight Rises. But in Dark Knight Rises,
to spoil that movie.
Yeah, that movie is like over 10 years old now, which is insane to me. But so when she dies, the take that they went with was her like very over dramatic. Like it is very much like a soap opera death, where she's like, and her eyes are wide open. It's just like. Her body twitches. It's very comical, and even Marion was like, "I didn't know."
We shot that scene 7 times, or I don't know why 7's the magic number today, but like we shot that scene a lot, and that's the one they went with. I don't have control over that.
Because we're talking about the 7th Mission Impossible movie. That's what.
Yeah, that's exactly why.
Yeah, and so there's a take, at least I should say, that they use of him confronting somebody that's meeting him at a bridge, where he kind of does like a backstep and then twirls, like almost like a dance move.
Yeah, like almost like he's like in he's like he thought he was in Tenet. I thought he was gonna
moonwalk away. Like, he looked like he was doing a choreographed dance move.
Yeah, I don't know.
Tell me why. And it was just a weird take and a weird moment that made me laugh in my seat, and I kind of had to be like, this is a high tension moment in the movie, so I'm just gonna wait to observe it with Kyle later. Like I didn't nudge you because it was. tensions are very high in that moment of the movie. At that moment in the movie, there's many fights going on. There's many parts moving.
There's a lot of stuff going on. There's nothing wrong with that part of the movie.
Yeah.
He is just a little weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a little odd.
Yeah.
And
I'm telling when I say nitpicks, that's what I meant. Like these are like nitpicky nitpicks, you know.
Right. Yeah, because for the most part, almost entirely we love the movie. Like, I mean, there's.
Yeah, I even remember walking out, and this was like the big magic for me was. Like the women were like the real, and I know that's like 1,000 people who I know listen to this podcast just rolled their eyes, all 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, the women were good. Yeah, they were, and because you know why? Because I feel like they didn't like try too hard. These girls were just like good. They were just good at what they were doing, and like they were just had a presence about them, and they effectively were in scenes.
I would argue they were more organic than some of the men were. Like.
Yeah.
Even like Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames were kind of like their exchanges back and forth were very
exposition-y.
Yeah, exposition-y, and like the jokes were kind of like I was predicting them in my head before they said them sometimes.
Yeah.
It's almost like I've seen too many of these movies.
There's 7 of them, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas the women, I don't know, they just felt like more of an organic part of the story.
Yeah. And like at no point, like, was there a Marvel all 18 women are standing on? I know that's like the easy, like low-hanging fruit that everyone knows, but like that's the go-to for a reason.
Yeah.
It doesn't ever feel like that. I don't think the movie's ever trying to push these like, hey, this is the girls' time, right, guys? Never feels like that. It's just so organic. It feels so good. Haley Atwell's super great in the movie. Rebecca Ferguson is literally great in everything she's ever been in.
Yep.
And Vanessa Kirby, is that the other one?
Yeah, I think so. White Widow. Yeah.
Vanessa Kirby. She's absolutely amazing in this movie. Chewing a lot of scenery.
Dude, her facial expressions are over the top. It's so funny. Funny.
Yeah, no, she is doing what the guy is doing.
Yeah.
But effectively.
With her face, like
he's doing
dance moves. He's doing the robot.
Kind of being like I'm just bad to be bad, you know. I'm a bad bitch, you know, type of role. Whereas the other guy's like, duh, I'm bad, duh.
He's like, beep boop.
You
wanted to meet me.
Bad. Yeah. And also Palm. I don't remember her last name, Mantis.
I don't know how to say it. I know she's French, Korean, or something like that. So she's a
total standout. She's got like 3 lines in the movie.
Yeah. And all of them are like French. And I think she says something. No, she doesn't say anything in English because Tom knows all the languages. That's his character arc. It's not even an arc. He just knows the languages. He just knows them. He's Jesus. He's Jesus. Yeah,
it's a Jesus with an X. Yeah, absolutely. But again, like you're talking just like 4 great performances that I came out of the movie going, oh, they really stole the show, which is good because Tom Cruise is like really old, so
he's getting there now.
You know, it's nice to like maybe let other people kind of take. Over
I'm surprised they still did this many weeks into the run. They introduced the movie, Tom Cruise and the director, and Tom Cruise was looking especially. His age. He's just looking
with that long hair.
Right.
He doesn't look great. Yeah. He's wearing the turtleneck, which is what Robert Downey Jr. did for like the last stint of his, career. Because the neck goes first, Jeff. That's what goes first.
Yeah.
You start getting like vagina neck, when you get old. So, sorry, everybody.
That's what they look like, dude.
Yeah. I'm just calling it like I see it, dude. So like this just what happens. He doesn't particularly look old in this movie, and when he's doing all the big stunts, I'm like, this guy's got it, dude. He's still got it. I can't believe this 60-year-old is jumping around.
The train stuff look especially demanding. Like, sure, jumping off of motors, like riding that ramp on the motorcycle, taking that jump, and then leaping off and sky. Sure, that looks very complicated, and I'm not underselling it. But the train stuff is like not parkour. Crossfitting. He's basically like crossfitting and climbing for real from certain parts of a train that are falling. I'm trying not to spoil it, but
you've seen it in the trailer, I think. Yeah,
some of it's in the trailer.
That's kind of what it's
pretty much Uncharted 2, but like he's like, they're trying to get to a point where the train stops falling. It is so stressful, and it goes on.
I'm telling you, that scene is so good. It's so outstanding.
Yeah.
There were multiple times I just wanted to look at you, going, "Are you really?" This is really something. The way they shot it, I don't know how they got away.
It felt like they
that.
For real, like obviously they were dressing up each train car. I don't think it was to scale. Like every they had each individual train car represented. I feel like they were redressing the same train car and just hanging it, because I feel like they for real shot it hanging not upside down, but like hanging.
Man, they had to have.
Because it looked, you could see the physics of them climbing. Even Tom Cruise's face, like you saw the vagina neck pop through a little bit.
Red,
because he's like, the gravity's just pushing against his face. Like, we need to climb up. Like, you could see that they're doing this for real, and you can see in that scene too when Haley talked about trying to keep up with Tom Cruise. I feel like she was talking about that. She was talking about that demanding action sequence where she's lifting herself, climbing on top of him, vice versa, like jumping. I mean, that scene looked incredibly tough.
And I'm sure he's the type who's like, just do it yourself. Do it yourself.
And he's a producer, so he could ask that, you know.
Yeah,
it would feel a little.
Do it, and I think it looks better when we don't have a stunt person there. And Haley Atwell was like, I don't want to do that at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Which who could blame her? But she did, and that's awesome. Speaking of her, there are some nitpicks surrounding her that are hard to talk about without like divulging stuff. But like the movie asks a lot out of you to just trust that Tom Cruise cares a lot about this girl.
Yeah.
And like you just have to buy in because the movie does not explain why or how or give any context or anything like that.
Yeah,
they just kind of meet. He's just kind of like, you're pretty cool. I think I'm gonna protect you for life or whatever.
It is weird that these aren't typically the type of movies that have sentimental moments like that, and I thought that was really weird to play that in the movie, and not only that, but include her in it for some reason.
Yeah.
So
it just seems bizarre. That was yeah. I did make.
But also, you and I are both like, yeah, we get it though. It's Haley.
Yeah, I made the joke walking out. I go, listen. I think it's the first thing I said. I go, listen. If you had to just ask the audience to care about a character and give no reason why, hiring Haley Atwell, it's a pretty good head start into like that purchase being made.
A great reason. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I'm already like, look at her. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I get it. Duh.
Yeah. Have you seen? Hey. You seen her?
I'd even let the French blonde girl kill me. It's totally
right.
They made some great choices in the casting department in this movie.
Yeah, agreed.
I love that they brought back the guy from Mission Impossible 1, the guy who's like Kittredge. That's his name.
Right.
They made great use of him, and it wasn't just. I thought it was going to be when they announced it, because they announced it before the movie, like as they were shooting, like Kittredge's going to come back.
Yeah, because
I thought it was just going to be one scene. I thought it was just going to be the one exhibition.
No, he had a huge part, and I always thought like. It's shaky because I feel like every movie there's like a new guy running things, you know.
Yeah.
So to kind of bring back some continuity, I'm like, oh, this feels good, you know. I like this.
Totally.
Because like every
I didn't want another
like...
Alec Baldwin situation where you're like, who's this now? Like, you know, and then you have to spend 2 movies explaining why he's a new director or whatever.
Right. And I guess since another nitpick was, since we're kind of talking about that, was like. You've seen all the like we're 7 movies in. You know what the twist is. You're gonna watch this movie and you're like, I know what's going on here.
Yeah.
I think the big surprise, which I won't even divulge here, is like the MacGuffin of the movie. Like there is a thing that is like happening in the movie that I was like, oh, this is the most interesting part, and I have no idea why it wasn't in the trailers at all. Which is why I don't want to divulge it, because walking in and seeing what the movie was about, I was like, well, this is really this is cool. This is super cool. Yeah. So I will say that despite you kind of knowing what the twists are, because like again, you see a Mission Impossible movie, like it's the twist that you think it is, that's what's happening. But the things that are the elements and ingredients, if you will, are changed up enough where I'm like, yeah, this is fresh. I'll take all this.
Yeah, definitely. And the subject of the movie is definitely a topic of conversation nowadays everywhere. Yeah. So it's kind of like
how weirdly forward thinking of this movie.
They were going to release it last year, you know, but didn't want to. Tom producing both Maverick and this, he didn't want to release them in the same year.
Sure.
For whatever reason, he felt like he would earn less money, I guess. But I feel like he would have just made money regardless. Didn't matter.
Yeah.
But you know, that's Scientologists for you. They think money first. Yep, making judgment. Whatever. One of them got a reckoning today, so as of the time of this recording. So
I don't think we need to tiptoe around Scientology being a bunch of fuckwads. So.
Yeah, I know, that's true. One of them's a rapist, 30 years in prison. Have fun.
Yeah, have fun with that. Yeah.
Have fun with that.
See ya hide from that 70s show.
Oh, his weirdo family must be very pressed about it. It kind of tickles me to know that they're mad. Anyway, because they're probably weird Scientologists too still. So
maybe. Or they're disassociated because those are the rules.
Those are the rules. Yeah, true. They tried to protect him, and then he got convicted, and they were like, well, we tried to terrorize people. I don't know what else we can do.
Yeah, that didn't work. Yeah.
Let's just cut him off and act like
Mission Impossible.
Yeah. By the way, I love that they were kind of taking the piss out of the whole idea in one of the opening scenes of the movie. They were describing the Impossible Mission Force to a bunch of people that we've never seen before,
a bunch of suits,
that are in the intelligence agencies and stuff, and it was like just so funny. And I was like, oh, they're going to lean into the comedy in this movie. That immediately set the tone of like, there's going to be more jokes in this movie, and there were that. Like
there was an immediately call of how stupid the entire concept is. Yeah, which I just really liked. Yeah, I thought that was super funny. So yeah, that worked for me too. But
there were so many great jokes to spread out throughout the movie. Not that they were consistent with like, isn't this silly? But there were some moments that like there's a car chase scene that was very silly, fun in a cool way, like cool.
And it's so cool, yeah, but it is silly. Yeah.
But like the car was like, it was just so funny. Just that sound alone is like just so funny. And then every time Shea Wiggum's character, I don't remember his character's name,
I don't know who that
but
is.
he had like his partner were constantly chasing Ethan Hunt throughout the whole
movie.
And those guys are like so
the guy who's like in
self-serious,
everything.
and his hair was just so big and comical, and those guys were another element of humor that were like, they belonged in like a 90s buddy cop movie or something. They were just so ridiculous.
There are moments where I'm like, oh yeah, this used to be a corny TV show. Like
exactly.
This property. Yeah.
It worked though. It worked.
It did. Yeah, I thought all this stuff worked too. Man.
I was surprised. Like I really thought the humor, if you were going to start injecting humor into Mission Impossible movie as much as they did in this one, I thought it wouldn't work, but they found a good balance. I'm very impressed. Yeah.
They made it fun. Yeah.
I'm sure
not Henry Cavill cocking his arms in a bathroom fun, but like still fun.
You're not going to see that, and if you did see that from the villain in this movie, you'd roll your eyes. You'd be like, "What the hell was that?"
Yeah,
that actor's just so awkward, stiff. Like,
well, and just his whole background too. It's just one of those. I'm from your deep past. I'm like, okay. I guess
we're doing a past thing. Yeah,
I'll like, buy into it all along. It's like Nathan Drake having a brother all along he's never talked about. You're like, I'll just buy into it.
Except
I guess
that would be like six games in, suddenly he has a brother.
Everybody's like, I've never spoken of him before. Even Sully, who's met him, you're like, I've never. Yeah, what's going on?
I haven't seen you since. Well, you didn't exist until this game, so I don't really know what to tell you.
You were written in.
That's why they introduced him in the movie right away. They were like, we're not gonna mess around with this.
Smart, because we're all waiting for that sequel.
Yeah, I can't wait for Uncharted 2. Maybe it'll come out when Tom Holland's age appropriate for Nathan Drake. That would make a lot of sense.
Or never. That'd be cool too.
Never would be ideal. More ideal. So this ideal.
It was fine.
It was.
I'm making it sound like it's like a Snyder movie or something. Am I right?
It felt, for an Uncharted movie, it felt very charted. That's the problem. So there's a lot of Uncharted references in this episode. But Mission Impossible is definitely recommend. The newest one is definitely recommend for us.
If you like action movies, this one delivers like big time. Yeah,
I think the second time I saw it actually lessened my opinion of it, so it's a little bit lower in the rankings for me. Just because of nostalgia goggles for the other, I don't know, 5 I put above it. But it's still really, really good. So
I don't know if it hit my 10, but
yeah, it's definitely not in my. I think I do a top 25 or 20 every year. I don't know, because it's like I see too many movies. But anyway, it's well worth seeing whenever it. I mean, if you haven't seen it in the theater already, I think you might still have a shot at doing it. I don't know.
Dude, I really don't know how anything
I don't
works
know. I haven't checked, but because it's not on streaming yet and it's not on demand yet, so it's not on video on demand. So.
Once they delayed Dune, I've like checked out on how anything in the movies
pretty
works.
much.
So, like everything is dead.
Is that Scorsese's movie still coming out? All right, I guess I'll see that.
Care. Yeah, I'll catch it when I catch it. I guess. Yeah, I'm
it is an Apple movie,
checked out. Like, hey, what's coming out this week? Couldn't tell you. I don't know. Is anything coming out this week? I don't know.
I don't know. There was at one point, and it got delayed. I think it got delayed to like next.
And then once
November.
the Eras tour got announced in October, like everybody moved their like Exorcist moved out of the way. Like everybody's like, we can't go against Taylor Swift, and I'm like, this is insane. Like, what world do we live in? We're the
apparently
the greatest pre-sale movie of all time is a Taylor Swift era like concert movie. You guys, I get it. She's popular, but come on.
Have you heard that studios are really pissed because it's a self-release? She didn't go to a studio and say, "Hey, I want help distributing this."
I'm actually.
She's a freaking billionaire. People forget this.
Swift on that one. Yeah, fuck these people.
Yeah, I know. Screw them. They're trying to screw actors and writers right now.
Yeah, fuck them. Yeah, I'm back. You know, I have the whole month, Swifty. I'm back on your side. I've never heard a single song by you, but I'm back on your side.
People forget that, or at least her fans maybe tend to forget that they're rooting for a billionaire. Taylor Swift Just because she's one person doesn't mean she's not a billionaire. She's
my favorite thing is like, well, she paid for all of the like crew members to blah blah. I'm like, those are called expenses. She's not a.
She's not being a manager. That's what she's
doing. Not a saint. She's running a tour right now. Of course, she's paying her truck drivers
and
or whatever.
She's getting, what are you talking about? She's overpricing those tickets in stadiums, not even arenas. Stadiums.
Yeah, right.
So of course she's like a billionaire, but
whatever.
That's called doing a grind. What?
She's super young and super rich. Good for her. You did it, lady.
Like our age, kind of. So I guess she's not young anymore. Sorry, Taylor, that you are caught up to us now.
No, you should say sorry to me because I still think I'm young and you're calling me old right now, and I'm not having it. I'm not gonna have it.
Anyway, this has been Taylor Swift Hour, so we're going to talk about a couple old movies that we watched.
Yeah, sure.
And we've both kind of been in a rabbit hole of watching 4K Blu-rays, like old movies that we've either seen before or, well, I mean, in your case, you've been buying a lot of standard Blu-rays too because they look better than streaming.
Yeah, and they're cheap now. No one cares about Blu-rays anymore. So
yeah, you're right. A lot of them are less than 10. Yeah, exactly. A lot of them are less than 10, even the great ones. But yeah, as far as like 4K Ultra HD Blu-rays that I've finally I've had a player for like a year and a half, and I just haven't really been diving into it. I'm gonna mention Inside Out because I love that movie, and
Bing Bong,
Bing Bong, right in the feel hole. I mean, the entire movie is a feeling. So, I mean, it's kind of appropriate that I still continue to feel things when I watch that movie. And this is maybe like my 6th time watching it, and something like that. It's probably my favorite Pixar movie. Like, I remember bringing up having rewatched it with some other people that like movies as well that have seen all the Pixar movies, and one of them was like, without them knowing that Inside Out was my favorite, they were like, yeah, I think The Incredibles is my favorite. And I'm like, yeah, there's not any feelings in that movie though. Sorry, I need feel therapy sometimes. I'm not saying there's thrills. That's a feeling, but I'm just saying, I guess I mean quite literally. That's all. I just mean quite literally.
Yeah. You don't have to convince me. Like Incredibles, while good, super low on my list of Pixar movies.
Yeah. I really like the second one.
Sorry, everybody.
So much in the theater, especially. I think I saw it with JD. Mutual friend of the.
I like the second one a lot too. Yeah, I like those movies a lot. It's just like I just like a lot of other Pixar.
Yeah,
movies.
When I think of Pixar, I think of like the heart. Like the heart of the movie, and if it's beaten hella loud and Inside Out and Onward, and like those movies just really moved me.
Onward's
and
great.
I'm all about those movies that move me. Especially this one where it's like pretty much trying to give therapy to not just kids but adults too about. How it's like totally okay. You don't have to constantly try to feel one feeling the whole time. You're either happy or you're sad. There's a whole moment in the movie where happy or joy and sadness come together to create a complex feeling where you're feeling happy and sad at the same time. And I'm like, see, everybody could afford to watch this movie and be like, oh, this is therapy for me.
That's good. That's good stuff to get in front of kids too.
Yeah, definitely. And the movie's basically giving you permission to cry too, so I don't feel like a weirdo when I do that. Crying during Mission Impossible was weird though, and I do apologize about that. I had
to console him in the middle of the movie. It was very weird, but I wasn't gonna bring it up. I'm glad you did though.
It was just Ving Rhames is just so poetic when he talks.
I guess, yeah.
What's an old movie that you watched?
An old movie I watched was the Ultimate Edition, I think it's called, of King Kong, Peter Jackson's King Kong.
Ooh, King Kong Bing Bong. It's so
King Kong Bing Bong. Yeah, it's the only reason I chose it, actually. This movie's like, I think it's gotten like better in people's minds as time's gone on. I think I remember it being like received kind of like, this is 3.5 hours. Why is this so long? When it came out, it's a Peter Jackson movie. That's why it's so long. No mystery there. But I really like this movie. It's the first time I'd seen this version of it. So I'd seen mini scenes, multiple monster action moments that they just like ever cutting this out of the movie. I'm like, you couldn't cut all the boring New York shit out of this movie. You had to cut monster moments on the island. Are you crazy? So that's crazy to me. But like those moments being in this that I hadn't seen before kind of made it a really interesting experience. And there are multiple moments in this. And I guess I always remember the ravine scene. I think I brought it up to you multiple times. Like there's a scene where everyone falls in a ravine and like it's quiet. There's like no music and all these like big bugs come out and start just murdering everybody. And it's like horrifying. Like it's actually legitimately like horrifying scene. I'm just like, oh, it's really tense and stressful and everything like that. And there's another scene that I always forget about where they're running down a different ravine. This is Ravine, the movie.
King Kong,
and they're being chased by like brachiosauruses and dinosaurs, like in this small little like ravine. And like people are just getting out of the way of their gigantic legs coming down. The sense of scale is so amazing. Like it is an absolutely thrilling moment in the movie. And I think the movie's filled with these types of moments where it's just like, I forgot how when they finally get to the meat of it, like that movie does not let up. And Peter Jackson really leans into like Lord of the Rings style musical motifs and stuff like that when he's like, hey, this character's on screen, so their theme song's playing, you know? And I think that makes it more cinematic and epic and stuff like that as well. I will say there's some characters I just don't care about. Like there's this kid who like the movie's really trying to get you to care about. Well, we find him on our ship and he's, you know, we made a real sailor out of him and yada yada. And it's supposed to be this big redemption story, but like ultimately I just don't care about what's going on with that kid.
Is it?
Yeah, it's Jamie Bell's character. Yeah.
I was looking at the cast. Yeah.
And it's so funny. He's always great, but like I feel like he always takes shitty roles. Like he's just had a whole career of like bad roles, even though he's really great, you know.
He's consistently shown he's been like a great actor, like in everything I've seen him in.
Absolutely, and he does fine with this. It's just the character I just don't care about. Characters I do care about. Jack Black plays a really swarmy, you know, character in this movie. You know, and he's not Jack Blacking it up. You know, which sorry everybody, I can get kind of tired of from time to time. So I do like Jack Black, but I like Tenacious D. I'm not a Philistine. I know my art, guys, you know, but like he can be a little too much in movies sometimes. He's great in this movie, I think. Forrest Gump's son, mention of your shirt. He's great in this movie too.
Unbelievable.
There's just a lot of really good actors in this movie, man. And I really enjoy it. I think you would like it too. I know you've never seen it before.
I kind of want to see that. Maybe I should watch the theatrical first and then be like, okay, yeah, I want to see the. I don't know what order to do things in anymore in my life.
Just watch it once and watch the big version.
Watch the big version, yeah. Because all those epic scenes being added sounds incredible.
Yeah, and those scenes were in the theatrical cut. So the scenes that I mentioned, the other ones was like a swamp monster and a couple other scenes where it was just like, cool, we're seeing big weird insects and like
Adrian Brody's in this too, right?
What's that?
Adrian Brody's in this too, right?
He is, which he's great. Yeah, I like him. And what's her face? You know, the girl that was in
Naomi Watts.
Yeah, Naomi Watts. That's her. She's good too.
I know Andy Serkis did Kong mocap.
Oh, I didn't know that. Andy Serkis plays my favorite character in the movie, the cook. So. He plays a really cool. He plays a really cool character in the movie.
He also did the human character.
He's like doing this Popeye thing with his eyes closed.
That's so
he's
funny,
always chomping on a cigar, you know, like it's pretty interesting.
You can tell like with Ander being the only exception really. Whenever he's asked to do a human role, Cassian Ander. Whenever he's asked to do a human role, he's always like going extra with it to be like, I'm a good actor, hire me for roles.
Yeah, right. And he really shows up in this movie, to be honest. So he's one of like the big moments in the ravine scene where he's like, man, you're acting your face off right now. Cause like you have to sell the terrifying nature of what's happening, you know, with all these CG things around you and no one's there, you know, nothing's there. I like the movie, man. I think you'd really like it. I think people have favored it more over time as time has gone on. It is long in the tooth, I will admit. But I also the CG is so out of this world. I have no idea if that's how it always was, because I remember seeing it in theaters and I was wowed, but like it did not age. Like even when you watch The Hobbit, which came out like 15 years later, like you're like, oh, this is already aging. The CG does not age in this movie. Like the dinosaurs look great. Kong looks like they put a real monkey on screen. It's crazy. I don't know. It's great. There's moments where Naomi Watts is like touching him, and like you actually see the firm. Like it's just very tactile and real and stuff. So
that's when Weta, the visual effects group that's in like New Zealand or something. They also did the Apes trilogy and Lord of the Rings.
Did they do this too?
Yes. That's when they were not.
They're just good at doing apes. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. They have an ape specialty, but I feel like at a certain point they started getting overworked, like every VFX house did. You know, when the boom happened and everybody wanted to do everything behind a green screen or in front of a green screen, and then they just got overworked like everybody else. kind of like The Hobbit, for example, like that trilogy. I think they did that as well, but it was kind of like there was definitely a crunch because like the studio was
there
like,
was a crunch because
90%
of that movie is CG.
The rights if we don't make this, you know, like they were like, we gotta turn this out.
It definitely feels better when there's like a nice mixture of CG and real, and I feel like stuff like The Hobbit, like, which I love, but like it's like too much CG, you know, so like it ages quicker and feels less, you know, than
I'm definitely gonna watch this. And by the way, James Newton Howard did do the score. He's the Lord of the Rings guy, so
that makes sense. It is very Lord of the Rings.
Catching parallels, yeah.
Yeah, it is very Lord of the Ringsy. I mean, even in the scope of the story.
Or am I crazy? That's him, right?
I thought somebody else may have done Lord of the Rings, but the name didn't strike me as.
It's not showing up in his wiki.
I'm pretty
Howard
sure.
Shore was Howard Shore.
Howard Shore, yeah. I was like, I recognize that name,
bro.
Yeah. Come on, Jeff. Dude.
Jeff's lost his touch, man. We take a break and suddenly I don't know what the hell.
I don't know anything about going on. Yeah, I like it. The one thing I liked about it ultimately, and I'll end on this note, is that like the lines of who's good and bad in this movie, Peter Jackson just totally kills, man, because like everybody has a reason to either like hate the ape or love the ape. The ape's bad, the ape's good, people are bad, people are good, you know, like there is such it's all muddy waters about like who is like the real protagonist in this movie or the good force or whatever. And that they play that all the way from the beginning to the end, you know, so good job on that one, you know.
Heck yeah. Well, sweet. I can't wait to watch it someday when I have like
14 hours.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to carve out a whole day for it, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like because I need a pre-show and then post game. That's what I need to do.
Sure. Yeah.
Anyway, that's all we're gonna do for this episode. So stay tuned. We're gonna have another one around the corner. Well, next week technically, but you know, spoilers. I guess Kyle and I are gonna do it right now. That's why. Yeah, I know we should change our shirts.
We should. Yeah, I'll go do it.
Right. No, let's not do that. We gotta commit. We gotta commit to the bit. We're wearing the same shirts, and if you ask us about it, we're gonna deny. We're gonna deny. We're just gonna be like, that's just our shirts that we use when we record. That's what it is. Don't worry about it.
When I know it's recording time whenever I throw it on.
Exactly. All right. Well, you can't really find us on social media anymore, so just good luck finding us, and thanks for listening. So like and subscribe and all that stuff. And we don't have a Patreon. We don't have sponsors, but just thanks for asking us to come back. For those of you that reached out, and that's kind of why we're doing this.
Plenty of people reach out. So thank you.
Exactly. It got to the point where Kyle and I were like, we should probably work on our schedules, like because both of us were kind of just like drowning in whatever we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, we can do something, right? So that's cool. That's cool that people wanted it. Yeah, you want it. So thanks for. And on that note,
this is our rated R version of the current brand.
Current cinema, not for kids. Stay tuned for next week when we talk about. I think we're gonna do Oppenheimer next. Well, Kyle's gonna have to be resuscitated between now and next week. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Next week, quotes. So thanks again, and.